הדובר הראשון הוא ידידי ועמיתי דוקטור יוסי איבס, מייסד ומנכ"ל עמותת תג, שותפנו לדרך ב-IGI. הוא ידבר על הנושא של תיקון עולם. יוסי, בבקשה.
So the English are back. I'm not going to repeat all of the thank yous. I'd like to have a few friends at the end of this evening. So just assume that I am as profoundly grateful to everybody for what they're doing, for what they're continuing to do. What I want to do is talk about Israel-related international development as a profound unifying force for all of us. And what I'd like to start with are three major challenges. Some people may even say the three major challenges. First, as you've heard, billions of people, even today, are facing and living with incredible hardship. Hardship that most people in the developed world can't even imagine. Where even the most basic human needs are not being met. Where vast number of people are dying or living maimed lives, although the cause of their hardship is entirely preventable. And anybody with a little bit of humanity, and in this room it's a lot of people with a lot of humanity, can empathize with the scale of this disaster. Second challenge. I live in Europe, the center for the efforts to marginalize, to delegitimize, to isolate, and if they could, and to utterly bring down this beautiful country. And their efforts are profoundly sincere and determined. And a lot of people rightly feel that we've got a real fight on our hands. Finally, there are many, including in this Knesset, who have become increasingly aware that we cannot take for granted the relationship between the Jews in Israel and their brothers and sisters in the diaspora. And if we sleep on this, we may wake up one day to find out that we've lost each other. So those are pretty big challenges. And if I stopped here, you would have every single right to think I've just made you thoroughly depressed and spoiled your day. But there is some amazing thing going on. That these three problems actually are each other's solution and offer us a unique opportunity. And so here is my formula to unite Jews and Israelis, very important, solves one problem, to position Israel at the forefront of global good, at the forefront of global good, thereby improving the lives of millions of the world's most vulnerable people. You could even make that billions if you want to be very ambitious, whilst winning Israel friends and admirers. Which, while I didn't put it first, is a very important second. And the whole point is that we can solve all of these problems together, not one at the expense of the other. This issue, that's sometimes referred to as Tikkun Olam, is the one really unifying theme that we can all agree upon. Whatever our politics, whatever our religion, we can agree that if we were to work together, we could do something that at least one of those great causes we all profoundly believe in. And so this is the strategy for solving these problems. Right now, and I say this as a rabbi, right now, about 10% of Jews believe this is a Jewish priority, which means that 90% think we're completely nuts. And as we are in the center of Israel's democracy, that means we are nuts. If there was a vote today, we would lose it resoundingly. So what are we going to do? We need to win the argument. We are Am HaSefer. We are a people of ideas. Why is this important Jewishly and Zionistically? Why this is core to our values? If we cannot make the argument intelligently, we cannot succeed. And don't worry, I do not plan to give you a drasha, a sermon, but I want you to say one thing to give you some sense, however small, of what I'm talking about. The father of the Jewish nation, Avraham, used to be called Avram. And anybody who's familiar with the Bible will know that the reason why his name was changed is because Avram lo yolid, Avraham yolid. He was childless, and he needed his name changed from Avram to Avraham so he could be the father of the Jewish people. But what does Avraham mean? Ki av hamon goyim netaticha. He wasn't called the father of Am Yisrael. He was called Av Hamon Goyim. What's it to do with it? Why do you have to be called Av Hamon Goyim to be the father of one nation? The answer is very obvious. To be a Jew is to be Av Hamon Goyim. If we are going to be true to our values, it means V'nivechu v'cha kol mishpachot ha'adama. We need to be a gift, a blessing to humanity. One of the names for the Israel Global Initiative, before we settled on this name, was Israel Cares. Israel Cares. Second, right now, we all have our ideas about what Israel could contribute, and we heard many of them and will continue to hear. But wouldn't it be incredible if we had really compelling tools to get across to the world what it is that Israel can offer, not only in the well-known fields, but in so many other things that are equally important but are little understood, including by Israelis. And this is what this project is trying to do, so that we all have access to incredibly reliable, meaningful and accessible information, so that we can get across to the world why they should come here, why this small country can make a huge difference. And third, and I confessed having had a private conversation with Dr. Oren a few minutes ago. There are, as you heard from Dr. Naftali, trillions of dollars going into development. Trillions of dollars. Just the British government has $25 billion a year being spent. How much of that money is coming to Israeli NGOs, to Israeli organizations, to Israeli experts? A fraction. What is the percentage coming to Israeli scientific institutions? Significant funds. Just last week, 24 Israeli youngsters got major scientific grants from Europe, the highest per capita of any country in the world. And we're not even part of Europe. What we could do if we improved our capability, as you heard from Mr. Prosser and from others, what we could do if we put ourselves in a position to be competitive and compelling. And it doesn't take that much, and we could be superstars in the field of international development. Moving on. Our partners are not just one. They include civil society as well. And I just want to make one brief comment on civil society, leave the others to speak on the other subjects. I won't mention its name, but there was a major organization in Israel with deep experience in a particular area, and we wanted to bring this experience to Georgia and Indonesia. And we approached this organization and they said, we cannot. No, we don't want to, we cannot. Why not? Our constitution says we only are allowed to operate in Israel. We got that changed. Civil society has a huge contribution to make. Sometimes it doesn't even know. And so, in conclusion, some people care about Tikkun Olam internationally. For them, they're passionate about the suffering of millions of vulnerable people. For other people, their primary concern is promoting and safeguarding Israel. They feel strongly that Israel is in danger of profound isolation. And then there are those who feel strongly that we need to protect the close bonds between Israel and diaspora Jews. They all have different agendas, but there's one thing they can all agree upon, that if we leveraged this international development opportunity, everybody, Yetsu Niskarim, everybody will end up successful. And so, my friends, whilst we face a great challenge, we also face a golden opportunity. The world is waiting for solutions. The world is waiting for knowledge, and therefore, the world is waiting for Israel. The world is waiting for the Jewish people. And ultimately, the world is waiting for us.